Chapter 23, Red Coast 6. In the years of relative peace that followed the Cultural Revolution, Wenji found herself haunted by the memories of the horrors she had endured. With the completion of the Red Coast project, life settled into routine, but the pain within her grew. Nightmarish memories fanned the flames of her heart, refusing to be forgotten. Yi's rational mind led her to study foreign philosophy and history, revealing the inherent darkness within humanity. Even on Radar Peak, an almost forgotten location, she witnessed the madness of her fellow comrades as they continued to destroy the forest without reason. The world itself seemed to descend into madness, with the Cold War looming and the constant threat of nuclear weapons capable of annihilating entire cities. As an astrophysicist, Yi held a deep conviction against the use of nuclear weapons. She understood that such power should be reserved for the stars and that the universe held even more terrifying forces. But in the face of this madness, rationality seemed powerless. 4 years after entering Red Coast Base, Yi and her boyfriend, Yang, got married. Yang had shown her kindness and love, and she felt a sense of gratitude towards him. However, she couldn't deny that her heart had grown cold and love's flame had extinguished. Amidst her growing disillusionment and existential crisis, Yi felt a deep sense of alienation from the world. She was adrift in a spiritual wilderness, devoid of a sense of purpose or belonging. One fateful night, while working the night shift at Red Coast, Yi noticed an unusual radio signal on the waveform display. Her familiarity with the noise of the universe allowed her to recognize that this particular signal was different. It carried the markings of intelligent modulation. Her heart raced with excitement as she rushed to decipher and analyze the signal. To her amazement, she discovered that the signal contained a warning repeated 3 times: "Do not answer, do not answer, do not answer." The transmission came from another world, one that had received humanity's message. He learned that this civilization was a pacifist, and it warned against answering any transmissions. If humanity were to respond, it would lead to an invasion and conquest of Earth. Yi's mind reeled as she realized that there were tens of millions of stars in the direction of the transmission. The universe, once thought desolate, teemed with life, and humanity had unknowingly cast its gaze upon neighboring civilizations. Overwhelmed by this newfound knowledge, Yi made a desperate decision. She decided to send a message, one that would invite the alien civilization to Earth, believing that their intervention was necessary to solve humanity's problems. She transmitted the message, "Come here, I will help you conquer this world," before quickly canceling the transmission. After leaving the control room, Yi found herself fainting on the lawn, eventually awakening in the base clinic. Yang was at her side, concerned about her well-being. The doctor informed her of something unexpected. She was pregnant. In that moment, Yi realized the weight of her actions. She had taken an immense risk, hoping that the alien civilization would be able to bring about the change humanity so desperately needed. Now, carrying a child, she had unknowingly tied their fate to a future she couldn't predict. The universe was no longer desolate, and Yi's decision had set in motion a chain of events that would forever change the course of Earth's history. Chapter 24, Rebellion. Wenji reveals the history of her first contact with Trisolaris to her comrades in the abandoned cafeteria. Wang is captivated by her story, forgetting about the danger they face. Intrigued, he asks about the development of the ETO. He explains that the nanomaterial Wang is working on is feared by Trisolaris because it can enable humans to escape gravity and build a space elevator. This technology would allow humans to enter space easily and construct large-scale defensive structures. Trisolaris wants to suppress this technology to maintain control over Earth. Wang, growing anxious, asks about the purpose of the countdown. He admits she doesn't know but assures him that even if they try to stop his research, someone else will figure it out eventually. The conversation takes a somber turn as Wang asks about her daughter's death. He emphasizes that compared to their powerful lord, their efforts are insignificant, but they will do whatever they can. Suddenly, the cafeteria doors burst open, revealing soldiers armed with submachine guns. The police officer, Zhicheng, is among them, wielding his pistol in a way that resembles a hammer. The soldiers surround the ETO rebels, ready for action. Dashi, an ETO member, tries to resist but is swiftly neutralized by Zhicheng. 3 ETO fighters rush forward, each holding a metal spear from the 3-body sculpture. They announce that the spears are nuclear bombs with a yield of 1.5 kilotons. They demand the release of their commander, Wenji, in exchange for not detonating the bombs. The soldiers and ETO members reach a tense standoff. The explosives expert suggests shooting the spear to scatter the explosives without causing a nuclear explosion, but Dashi knows the ETO members are sharp and will detect any snipers. Dashi tries a different approach by distracting the women holding the explosive. But moments later, the bomb in the young woman's hands detonates. In the chaos that ensues, Wang is dragged out of the cafeteria as smoke and gunfire fill the air. The explosion kills the young woman and severely injures the man who shielded Dashi. Zhicheng, along with many others, suffers from severe radiation contamination. Wang, looking through the ambulance window, talks to Dashi over their mobile phones. He acknowledges that Wang was right about someone, or something, being behind the ETO, but neither of them could have imagined that actual aliens were involved. Chapter 25, The Deaths of Lei Zhicheng and Yang Weining. In this chapter, the truth behind Yuwenji's dark secret is finally revealed. As he is being interrogated about her alleged involvement in the murders of Base Commissar Lei Zhicheng and her husband, Base Engineer Yang, she admits to the crimes. He admits to killing both Lei and Yang on a fateful day in 1979. Following her receipt of an extraterrestrial message. As the story unfolds, we learn that Commissar Lei, driven by his political aspirations, had secretly been monitoring the transmissions at Red Coast Base. He had stumbled upon the same message that he had received. When Lei confronts Yi in his office, she learns that he too has received the message. Lei, filled with ambition and a desire for recognition, proposes a plan to keep their knowledge a secret. He believes that he can become the first person to discover extraterrestrial intelligence and wants Yi's cooperation to make his name go down in history. However, Yi has different plans. She sees this opportunity as a way to ensure her revenge against the Communist Party and the people who have caused her pain. She agrees to cooperate with Lei's plan, but in reality, she has already made up her mind to end his life. He sabotages the equipment at the receiver site, causing interference and drawing attention to Lei's expertise in repairing the ground wire. When Lei arrives at the site with her husband, Yan, he realizes this is her chance. She deliberately cuts the rope they are using to descend the cliff, resulting in their tragic deaths. During the interrogation, Yi maintains a calm and detached demeanor. She reveals that when she committed the murders, she felt no emotion. She had finally found a purpose she could devote herself to and was willing to pay any price, including the consequences that would befall the entire human race. The chapter ends as Yi is asked to review and sign the record of her interrogation. The reader is left with a deep sense of intrigue and anticipation. What will be the consequences of Yi's actions? How will her involvement with the extraterrestrial message shape the future of humanity? Chapter 26, No One Repents. Yuwenji, the woman responsible for sending a message to the universe, returned to Red Coast Base with her daughter, Yanda. She lived in peace and tranquility, immersed in her work and avoiding thoughts of the past. However, she still carried the weight of her actions and the murders she committed. He soon embarks on a mission to find the 4 female Red Guards who had killed her father, the professor beaten to death in Chapter 1. She wanted to hear them repent and see a glimmer of humanity in them. To her surprise, they agreed to meet and 3 of them showed up at the designated meeting spot. These women, now aged and worn down by life, shared their experiences with Yi. They were sent to the countryside, endured hardships, and faced the harsh reality of the world. They no longer held the same fervor and had suffered greatly. Yi learns that the women who had delivered the fatal blow to Yi's father had drowned in the Yellow River while attempting to save sheep during a flood. The others recounted their struggles and the bleakness of their existence. In the end, these women expressed that they were forgotten, left with nothing. They had no jobs, no money, and no future. They were relics of the past, abandoned by society. As he listened, she was filled with a sense of helplessness and realized that the hope she had held onto for a better society had evaporated. She was left with a desire to bring a superior civilization from the universe and integrate it into the human world. With this unshakable ideal in mind, Yuwenji continued her journey, knowing that the answers she sought would not come from within humanity alone. If you've traveled with me this far into the video, I'd be thrilled if you'd consider giving me a pat on the back with the like button. But if this journey didn't quite do it for you, don't fret. Maybe our next adventure will. Subscribing is your passport to join me as we explore more exciting chapters in the vast landscape of books. Help shape the future by leaving a comment with book recommendations for chapter summaries or feedback to enhance the channel.